All right, here we go. What's the deal? What's the deal? You already know, cash capital K $ for the S. Intellectual Street Thoughts, episode 126. We in the building. Shout out to my mod. Shout out to young Chucky, my top shooter. CS, what's going on? Stream Elements in the building. We about to get to Tucker Carlson for a little bit. You feel me? It's been a lot of nefarious shit going on, so I ain't about to waste no time. Shout out to everybody that's been watching my compilations. Y'all get me in that algorithm while I switch these niches. Hit that hype button. Let's get 126 started. Hit that like button. Double tap that screen.
And violence in the CIA that you describe, I haven't seen any meaningful attempt to stop it.
Oh, no, I agree.
It's about psyops, the set of lies that was agreed upon, our history, how they've been on bullshit. It seemed like it's a great wake up going on. And it don't matter what's your time when you did. Everybody got their own time.
Very strongly.
Do you believe that the CIA has hurt other American citizens?
Yes. I'm sure of it. Yes.
What about physically?
Jara was bracking.
Well, there are two very well documented cases where Barack Obama used a drone to murder Anwar al-Awlaki.
Yep.
And whether you like the man's politics or not, he was an American citizen who had never been charged with a crime. And then a week later, Obama droned his 16-year-old son and 14-year-old nephew who were sitting in a coffee shop having a cup of tea. Also, American citizens who had never been charged with a crime, and they were children. So yeah, the CIA does all kinds of things like that.
What about domestically?
Well, his story is a little faulty. So he say that he went to jail for exposing and treason and shit, but he didn't. He went to jail for some other shit.
I keep thinking back to Eric Holder's testimony before the Senate Armed Services Committee when Rand Paul asked him, does the president have the legal authority to murder an American on U.S. soil? Well, Senator, just answer the question. It's a yes or no question. Yes, he has the authority. Now, has he done that? We didn't know. But the Attorney General of the United States said that the president can murder an American citizen in the United States if the president believes that he presents a...
Nah, we can go off his word. He know what he's talking about, but just his narrative to go get the clicks at first, because he exaggerated his story a little bit. You feel me? For y'all, I don't do service level research. I got to make sure everybody is who they say they is.
A clear and present danger to the national security. That's sick. It's
unbelievable.
It's anti-constitutional. Not just unconstitutional. It's anti-constitutional.
He did work for the CIA, though. That's a fact.
Do people who work at the CIA have a sense that maybe they're not serving good?
Generally, no. Generally, these are, at the working level, these are hardworking, really smart, patriotic people.
Some of them are really smart. I can confirm that.
Really smart. At the upper levels, they believe they're the smartest people in the room. They're smarter than whoever happens to be president at any given time. And if they don't like this president, they just wait him out. He'll be gone in 4 years. They'll still be there in their still senior positions, and they're going to do exactly what they want to do. This is why they panicked when Ronald Reagan named an outsider as the deputy director for operations. Boy. Remember?
Do I remember?
They lost it because they were like, oh my God, okay, you appoint your campaign manager, the director, that's one thing. But now operations, you're going to bring a friend from Wall Street or wherever he was an attorney? Yeah, I would.
I think that's when they called in Bob Woodward to blow them up, right? The former naval intel officer, Bob Woodward.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Not the only time Bob Woodward has been called in by the national security state to destroy
when
Americans.
I was the deputy director, the executive assistant to the deputy director for operations. I had just finished writing a cable. I had this lovely private office, and it looked out past the secretary into the hallway. So I finished writing, and I leaned back like this in my chair, and I happened to be looking at the hall, and Bob Woodward walked by. And I said to the secretary, "Was that Bob Woodward that just walked by the office?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Without a security escort, like he owns the place." And she said, "You didn't see the memo?" I said, "What memo?" She said, George Tenet. She said, "George sent a memo saying that Woodward's writing a book and we're all ordered to cooperate with him."
I would agree with that, Jara. Anybody who is in one of them weird ass associations like Skull and Bones or shit like that, you're a weirdo.
I said, "I'm not talking to Bob Woodward." I couldn't believe it.
He's just a great reporter. Come on, John.
He's free to
That's
just
called
walk around.
shoe leather. He's not.
Everybody double tap that screen real quick. Let's get it going and help way more than you think. If you enjoying the content, just double tap. Boop, boop. That's all you got to do. You don't even got to back out.
You're talking about people that have been undercover or deep cover for decades, and he's just walking the halls.
He's not an instrument of the government. He's a counterbalance. He's a check against their overreach. He's a journalist.
They're going to run with that.
It's so absurd.
I was shocked.
The story that you told about the fake Japanese diplomat trying to set you up is remarkable. That's a remarkable story.
Sick.
It is sick. It's unbelievable that they would do that to an American citizen, particularly one with a demonstrated record of serving the country at personal risk. So, but outrage aside, it does sort of reframe your understanding of how things actually work. That happened to you. That's a real thing.
Yes.
Provable.
A lot of shit that be going on in this world, not even this country. He say on every Tuesday, the CIA make a list of the top 10 people that they want to knock down this week, and they pick one person, and then they do it. You can't trust nobody.
And you said that it had in fact changed your view of how things actually worked, and you'd reassessed your understanding of things that had happened in American history, and then maybe they're not exactly what they seem to be.
That's right.
Can you go into a little more depth about what you're thinking now?
The short version is I have come to believe very strongly that Ronald Reagan was right when he said that government is the problem. It's not the solution to the problem. He was right. He recognized it, and the rest of us failed to see it. So now when I hear about standoffs, let's say, between American citizens and the Bureau of Land Management, for example.
Yes.
Or ATF or DEA, I no longer believe what is reported in the media. I no longer believe the strategic leaks that come from whatever bureau or agency to spin the story. I've gotten to the point where I'm obsessed with doing my own investigations.
Yes.
And I read all source material because the truth has to be out there somewhere. I just feel like I have to put it together for myself. So now when we talk about the Kennedy assassinations or RFK, or MLK, or as we said earlier, Ruby Ridge or Waco, whatever it is, I default to doubting the government account.
So you worked for the government during Waco. That was my first day working at a newspaper. So I remember the chaos in the newsroom when that happened. So that was 93.
93.
That must have been the spring of 93. Correct. Is that right?
Yes.
So, boy, over 30 years ago. But you worked for the government then.
I was at the CIA at the time, and it was on every TV in the CIA. And I remember looking at it, not really having an opinion, and my boss saying, well, it's about time they finally moved on that operation.
So what was that? Boy, that's really a forgotten moment in American history. So there was a religious sect known as the Branch Davidians, so that's what we called them.
That's right.
A guy called David Koresh, that was his cult name anyway, and they were accused of mistreating children.
Yes.
Which maybe they were, I have no idea.
And hoarding weapons.
And hoarding weapons. And they were surrounded by federal agents at their compound in Waco, Texas. And that standoff culminated in a shootout in which federal agents were killed.
Yes.
And most of the occupants of that compound were burned to death.
Mm-hmm. I think
Right.
it was something like 27 of them. And half of them were children,
Yeah.
like young children.
Yeah. I think it was maybe more than 27.
More than 27.
Yeah. It was
A lot.
It was awful. But what was it? Was that more than what we were told it was, do you think?
Well, the spin was this was a dangerous lunatic and he had to be stopped before he used those guns to go out and kill people. The truth of the matter is you're allowed to buy as many guns as you want.
Yeah, I've proven that. Yeah. I have.
Good.
You're not allowed to buy guns because you're a convicted felon.
I'm a convicted felon.
And you've done nothing wrong. And I really hope you receive that presidential pardon soon.
Thank you. And on top of losing my gun, I lost my pension. The Obama Justice Department seized my federal pension.
Why?
20 years of proud service, $770,000. I'm going to have to work until the day I die. Only a pardon.
How could you have worked at CIA for all those years and not wound up rich?
Yeah, right.
I have to say that is the story that no one ever tells. And I just know it from my just personal life, just living in DC my whole life. They're all rich. Have you noticed this?
I had to read it a few times to understand what you were saying. But I guess you're right, Jara. I guess you're right, for sure.
They are all rich.
Why are there all these former CIA officers who are rich?
Some of them.
Underground Scoop TV. Shout out to you. Scoop TV, my bad, blood.
Excuse me. Some of them get enormous book advances. Others make this odd transition into venture capital or consulting or butts in the seats kind of, Booz Allen style firms. A lot of them go overseas and stay overseas. So the CIA paid.
It really be a lot of nefarious shit going on. Everybody double tap that screen real quick. You don't even got to leave the content. Hit that like button. Appreciate it in advance. It helps non-biased media. Let's get in that algorithm. Let's get episode 126 going.
For everything, the only thing you pay for is your phone bill. And they just invest for 30 years and come out with plenty of money.
I've lived in nice neighborhoods for a long time. And there are always CIA people on my street. Always.
Half of McLean, Virginia is CIA.
Yeah, in the District of Columbia and Florida. And it's just like legit rich.
Yeah, rich.
Is that, that's not a good sign, is it?
No, it's not a good sign. Because you're not supposed to capitalize on a position.
Not when you have the power of life and death over people.
From 88th and Dowling Street, or no?
That's what bothers me. It's not just like people from the Labor Department or Commerce who are like leveraging their skills to riches. It's like people who have information that they're the only ones legally allowed to possess, like true inside information, and the power to kill people.
That's right.
The president can't get alien clearance, but he can get cleared to unalive somebody on U.S. soil. Okay. Yvette, what's the deal? Shout out to my hGlobal gang members in the building.
Like, that's one category.
With no questions asked. May I add one thing?
Yeah.
I recently received an email from someone I had never heard of, but this is the third such email that I have received, and I wanted to mention it. So, of all things, I received it through eBay, right? I was selling something on eBay, and somebody saw that, because I'm an open book, so I'm just like John Kiriakou on eBay.
Yeah.
So I received this thing through eBay, and it says, "Dear John, it's so nice to finally speak to you. I've been watching your YouTube videos, and I love all the content, and I've been wanting to reach out to you for many years. I'm one of the FBI agents who wants to personally apologize to you for the disgraceful way that the FBI and our federal government treated you. I worked on your case with both headquarters and the Washington field office team, and I know many of the personnel that you're familiar with, unfortunately. That case was directed and driven by senior-most officials. Many mid-level and street personnel were against it, but nevertheless, we just followed orders. Anyway, I've always felt bad about what we did to you and for the way you and your family were treated."
If you or a loved one have
We're gonna get back to Tucker Carlson after we watch this Sean Ryan clip real quick. We went off that ancient scripture and shit.
In the big gods. This particular Egyptian god is known as the great master, the great he, she, Genesis, the origin of all things. He did that, the same thing.
Absolutely not. You about to stay with
the kind of casual cruelty and violence in the CIA.
We could finish watching that Ian Carl interview too, but it's a few videos I wanted to watch though first. Like this one.
Coming back to the pyramids.
Yes.
To the Wi-Fi's, they be going crazy.
So we don't know when they were built. Because how could we know? But the Egyptian government and the archaeological community is totally vested in telling us they know exactly when these were built. But in point of fact, we don't know and can't know. No mummies have been found in the pyramids. I didn't know that till you told me. But critically, from my perspective, it's like, how were they built? Do we know?
We don't really know. The conventional story is ramps and pulleys.
Right.
But I think it's been mathematically shown that the amount of ramps and pulleys and equipment that you would need to build the pyramids would exceed the weight of the pyramids themselves. I mean, how long does the ramp have to be to go up? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. No one can really explain it. And the precision of how these stones were cut, we can only barely match it now. And this is supposed to be Bronze Age.
Yes.
Done with bronze.
Soft metal.
Soft metal. Cutting the hardest granite in the world. It defies explanation, but that's the explanation. And why is the pyramid made of all these different materials? Why not just make it out of the whatever sandstone you have lying around? Why bring in Tor limestone? Why use rose granite?
Well, they say the mega churches signed NDAs like last year, so they are part of Project Bluebeam allegedly. For entertainment purposes only. YouTube, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Certain places.
I didn't know that.
Well, rose granite is very special because it's highly piezoelectric, meaning if you apply pressure to it, it creates voltage. So that's one of the theories about the pyramid is.
So it's videos when you used to be able to get on top of the pyramids of people holding up like forks and shit like that, and it catching sparks and going like haywire. But you can't climb the pyramids no more, obviously, but you can still look up and watch some videos.
The Grand Gallery leading up to the King's Chamber is lined with rose granite. You don't see it anywhere else in the pyramid. So that's highly conductive. The exterior of the pyramid was covered in Tor limestone, which is an insulator. So you have the structure that's almost designed like an electricity generator. And then you have the Queen's Chamber and some other shafts where there's chemical residue that when combined create an enormous amount of hydrogen gas that then flows up through the Grand Gallery, expands, creates electricity with this rose granite, which ionizes the air. And then at the time, there were these slats, 24 slats of wood that would create sound and which would amplify. And what's strange is leading from the Grand Gallery into the King's Chamber is a small hole. I forget what it was. Maybe it's 3 by 6. It just happens to be the right size to be a waveguide for hydrogen atoms. So those flow then into the King's Chamber.
How the freak did they know about atoms and shit like that? They didn't have no telescopes allegedly. How did they map out the celestial sky so accurately?
And this resonates at a frequency. I think it's 440 hertz. It's like an F sharp. And then above the King's Chamber is a stone called a relieving stone. And this is said to help relieve the pressure coming from the top of the pyramid. The thing is, it doesn't connect to anything. It's perfectly flat on the bottom, but it's chipped on the top, almost as if someone was chipping away, almost like a tuning fork to get the right frequency. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is.
And Jara, with lightning, it can only happen in an enclosed space. So lightning would not happen unless it's enclosed. So if we're not in a firmament, we wouldn't have lightning. That's a different story for a different day.
I'm saying there's a lot of science there that makes you wonder, why go through all this trouble for a tomb? And there's no writing in there.
There's no writing in the Great Pyramid?
No, there's no writing in there.
Zero.
There was some writing found in an expedition, I think it was in the 80s, where a robot was sent in. They found a door with copper handles, which are not supposed to be there. Then the other side of the door it looked like hieroglyphics, but they were not. And that eventually was suppressed. And the explanation was, well, that was like the signature of the masons who built it or something like that. Well, let's have a look at that footage. Well, you can't really get a hold of that.
What?
So there's all these strange things about the pyramid that we just can't go. We can't dig. I don't know if you saw my episode on the labyrinth at Hawara, but that one really bothers me because that's an ancient legend that goes back to Herodotus and even before. Talked about this labyrinth in Hawara. It's about 50 miles from Cairo. This labyrinth was enormous, 3,000 rooms, and the priest said this was built by the ancients, the ancient kings. Oh, you mean the pharaohs? And they said no, the ones before, from Zep-Tepi, which was the first time. Well, the labyrinth was talked about by Herodotus, by Pliny, by Strabo, by all these famous historians. It's there. It's bustling, and eventually just sort of disappears from history and becomes a legend. Well, it gets rediscovered in the early, late 19th century, and
During the colonial period.
yes, but we're not allowed to dig.
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought leads to more thoughts. Layer by layer, taking shape. When you need your tools, bring them in. They just click. Okay, kick it up a notch. Create something smarter, something powerful. Style counts, so give it your touch. Big or small. Next idea hits at 2 a.m. Of course it does. Keep building. Ask yourself, wait, I built this? Damn right. Base 44. Build it your way.
Holy shit, listen to this. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, so the total amount is going to be $34,000.
34,000. Okay, and you're sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Wait, are you sure? Because my insurance only offered 4,000.
Based on all of the information, you qualify for $34,000 in compensation. Your check should arrive in the mail in 7 to 10 business days.
That was a call confirming that I'm about to get a $34,000 check delivered in the mail. I didn't win the lottery or inherit anything. I actually got this $34,000 offered by using a really simple tool that everyone is talking about right now. See, I got rear-ended 3 months ago, and at that time, the insurance company only offered me $4,000 as a settlement, but I found this new tool. I'll drop the link so you can check it out. So it works by taking your accident details and a bunch of law firms review it and fight for your claim. Then you can pick which one you want, and if you don't want to pick it, it can auto-pick the right firm for you, which means I didn't have to worry about how much my accident was worth because I know that these firms are competing for me. I literally answered 4 questions, and a minute later, a case specialist reached out to me and told me exactly how I could get my case handled for me 100% for free. I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't really have to do anything at all. I literally got a $34,000 offer, which was $30,000 more than the insurance company offered me just for answering a few questions on a website and talking on the phone to a specialist for 10 minutes. So I'm going to put a link to the website on this video because I need more people to know about this. Just click it, answer 4 questions, and get your case reviewed by a specialist law firm. It's free. It takes seconds. Just click it. It's literally a no-brainer.
Or go down there. But recent technology like ground penetrating radar, LiDAR from space shows that there's stuff down there. The explorer who found it thought he found the foundation of the labyrinth and was very excited about it. It turned out what he found was the roof. So the LiDAR is showing these giant spaces underneath the ground that are feet thick of heavy granite with all these spaces in between.
You need a certain bloodline to access the pyramids. I ain't heard that narrative. I ain't taking not taking it serious though.
And in the center of this giant atrium is a 150-foot metallic ring that nobody can explain. And boy, I'd like permission to dig or see what's down there. And the tragedy is the water table is eroding all of that away. And geologists are saying, look, we have to preserve this because this is going to be gone in 100 years, 200 years. We can't stop. The answer is no. Can't dig. We're not going to prevent the water from eroding it. Leave it be.
The incuriosity about the monuments, ancient monuments in Egypt is pretty shocking. I mean, it was only when the French showed up briefly that we got the Rosetta Stone and figured out what hieroglyphics were. And it was only under the British that any of this was excavated. Howard Carter was British, who found King Tut's tomb. It's like, and then the Brits leave after the Second World War, and it's like, not really a huge effort to find out anything else. Like, what is that?
Is it Egyptian national pride? I don't know. These things are more important than any nation.
Of course.
So I don't know.
But do you think the Egyptian government, which is the second largest recipient of U.S. aid, maybe that's related in some way, has actively covered up information about its monuments?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we have evidence of it.
Tell me.
There's, I think it was called the Tomb of the Birds was discovered not too long ago. I forgot the scientist. I wish I remembered his name, but I recently did an episode on him. He just discovered this ancient tomb, these caverns in Egypt. It's sprawling and it's clearly man-made, and there's artifacts and there's writings, all these kinds of things. And he does the right thing and reports it to the authorities. Well, he's banned from the country. And
what?
Yeah, it's thrown out. He's banned from the country. Can no longer do any research. And Zahiwas says, "Oh, we always knew that was there." And
who did you refer to? Zahiwas?
Zahiwas once again. His title was something like the supreme leader of the Council of Egyptian Antiquities, some crazy title. And he's still running interference. He's supposedly retired, but still runs interference. And there's video of him rappelling down into the caves, kind of exploring them, saying, "Look at what I have discovered."
So what do you think the motive is there?
Some of that is ego.
Yeah.
I don't know the deeper political motives. I really don't know whether it's Egypt or our government. I don't know, but it bothers me.
He went on Joe Rogan and made a jackass out of himself. Shout out to ancient Egypt. Though we about to get to the more modern day times with TC Tucker. Tucker done woke up a little bit. I ain't mad at that at all. You feel me? Oh shit. Oops.
So So here's my big picture concern is that, all these, our country and the entire West, the structure is representative democracy, some version of that, like the people rule. And it is therefore, these are all voluntary systems. Like people participate in the system, they pay their taxes, they obey the law, they vote, they abide by the results of those elections. Like all of this is just voluntary because we all believe that despite corruption and imperfection, the systems themselves are legitimate. They're kind of run on the basis of what they tell us they're doing. Like this is all for our benefit. If people decide that like it's all fake, it's all totally corrupt, our welfare has nothing to do with why these systems are running, it's all like a scam, I don't know, like what happens then? When you know this much about the corruption, can any of these systems continue? And I should just say, for whatever it's worth, that I like a lot of these systems. I grew up with them. Like I'm for democracy. I'm for, transparent justice and all that stuff. I'm not for tearing it all down, but I'm starting to wonder, like, can any of this keep going now that we know a lot of the truth?
Yeah, that is the $1 million question. And think, so I'm 33 years old right now.
Well, Carson is a strange case, bro. His pops worked for the CIA and shit. Like, he's a strange individual.
And I'm sort of the 9/11 generation. And
Yeah.
I shudder to imagine how a 21-year-old must feel today,
Yes.
or a 15-year-old must feel today. Because even at my age, as sort of like a still younger kind of adult, moving into, like, my generation is supposed to be moving into leadership roles and moving into positions of taking on the mantle of like leading our country in the next 5 to 10 years. And we all grew up in this world where the first thing we knew as like young thinking adults was 9/11. And every event since then has felt like a facade. It's all felt like lies. It's all felt like deception. And it's culminated in this moment where we get this massive dump of information that just explicitly tells us that all the way back to Bill Clinton's presidency, and even before in a lot of ways, our government has been blackmailed on behalf of a foreign, malign, malignant sort of an interest that then when we all see in 2019 that this guy gets charged, they get all this evidence. It is now 2026. That is 7 years of the American government doing absolutely nothing with this case, not prosecuting anyone except for Ghislaine a little bit, not asking any questions, no investigations, no. We're told that this is America. We're told that this is the greatest country on earth, and what you would expect then from any decent country or any decent person, if you shrunk this down to a smaller kind of a frame of reference, is you would expect that you deal with it. You deal with it. You don't let people abuse children. You don't let people blackmail your politicians. You don't let people control your financial networks through coercion and bribery and control like this. And so when people in their 20s and 30s and everyone of every age sees that for decades now, our nation has been co-opted from the inside. And then when they find that co-option and then still nothing is done, in fact, it's actually actively covered up for
Co-option or cooperation, Ian?
almost 20 years now since the initial sweetheart deal. Yeah, I don't know how you come back from that. And that's where it feels a little bit more like, you remember that there's a famous tape that goes around of Yuri Bezmenov, I think his name is, describing KGB subversion of a nation and the stages of subversion. I kind of shudder to think this part of it all through, but it really does make me feel like almost like we've been cast from worth being controlled to now just being subverted. Because when you've been that deeply compromised for that long, it's almost reminds me of like the man that has let his values slip for so long, has been lost in the bottle for so long, or has been cheating for so long that once the lies all come out, once the pain all comes out, it's like there's no man left. There's no, which is like, that's an unacceptable state of being. That's an unacceptable answer. I'm trying to raise a family in this country. I'm trying to, raise children. I'm trying to have a future. And so there, like, I think there's people at all different stages of grief with this thing and rage with this thing. And I think that maybe people that skew older maybe skew more towards like trying to ignore it. And I think that people that skew younger maybe also like giving up about it. But I'm somewhere in the middle where it's like rage, because this is like, we're supposed to have a future here. And I'm of the generation that's supposed to be here to do something about it. And everyone in, from my generation up to like Kash Patel's generation, for example, everyone of power, it seems to be just complicit or weak and spineless or unwilling to do something, unable to do something. So I don't know what the solution is, but it's just, it's unacceptable.
When was it ever great? I'm assuming closer to the inception of America, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. I wasn't alive then.
Well, to me, that there isn't one.
Well, that's right. But you also,
maybe the 70s?
At the end of what you said people younger than you just accept it. I mean, older people can't deal with it. It's too much. It's too different from what they previously believed. And I understand they're tormented by it. Like, I don't believe this. It's all crazy. And by the way, I'm probably closer to that generation. I am closer than you are. And I kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
This is too crazy. This can't be real. I took my kids to brunch at Common Pizza. I know the guys who own it. Like, there's no way this can be real, right? I mean, I'll just admit it. I felt that way. I was wrong, obviously. So, but I get that. Yeah. But much more disturbing is not just that boomers are, out of it. We knew that. But that young people,
a lot of them are
just like, so basically have been made, let's just be honest, so decadent in their thinking that they're just like, yeah, of course, of course we're ruled by satanic pedophiles. Like, how terrible is that people are growing up in this country just assuming that the most grotesque crimes are the way things are?
It is.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. It's like the generation of children born into the camp that have never known anything else.
Right.
They've never known the freedom. They've never known, the sunlight. And for me, somewhere in the middle there, when I look at what that future looks like, if you let that subversion slide into one more generation, it's like, is it maybe that you never come back out? Do you never have
E.T., what's the deal?
Never have the will to stand on your 2 feet and stand up for your rights as a human again? Because I'm somewhere in the middle there where, like, I at least remember when we all believed that we had a country, when we all believed that there was democracy, when we all believed that there was something going on here, and that we would have a future. And looking at young people growing up, starting to accept that this is just the way it is and that nothing will ever be done. I shudder to think of if this generation doesn't pull it together and do something about this, and instead we let the next generation grow into just being sedated by all the flashing lights and the phones and the TikToks and the whatever else, and just kind of sliding into the soma of it all, so to speak. Yes. That is the most horrifying idea in my mind ever. And that's like rage against the dying of the light. There is no worse fate, in my opinion. Like death before sort of that slide down into the matrix, so to speak. It does feel like this is the time. It feels like it's,
well, but
when is the time, if not when 3 million documents come out?
So most people don't wake up in the morning and decide to feel horrible, exhausted, foggy, disconnected from themselves. But it does happen, and it happens.
That's real. Well, we ought to see what Charleston has to say about this.
Trump is one of the best confidence men we have ever seen in history. He had Trump steaks, Trump burgers, Trump everything. The government shut down. Everybody was in on it. Not just your Democrats and Republican politicians. Israel was in on it. China was in on it. You think these countries are against one another. The leaders are unified in one government. That's why I'll go meet at the G5 convention. What you see and what you hear is deception, propaganda, and trickery. It's not real. That's why each news station got a different narrative. That's why politicians use the same facts but talk different truths. They use the same facts but talk different truths. They don't speak the truth. They use facts. I'm not a factual nigga. I'm a truth nigga. Give me facts. Let's talk truth. Because I can go collect some data and change the numbers.
What about the food stamps?
It's all trickery. It's all trickery. Okay, you got the president and the government saying, we ain't getting y'all no food stamp. You got the lower level Supreme Court saying, President, we're going to give you something. Week later, a high Supreme Court can't give nothing. All of a sudden, y'all get, they're distracting people. The American people are looked at as not being smart. We got one of the worst education systems in the world. Our politicians for at least 100 to 200 years campaign and rely on uninformed voters. That's why they wait to the last year or the last 2 years. Hey, we want to be president. They don't listen ahead of time. They give you a short amount of time to know these people. And they come with talking points. That's why you can't ask them no direct questions. They pick who get to ask them. Everything is staged. When you see the president appointed, they've already been picked and selected. It's a script that's already been It's a script written for what you're watching. You don't know the script. That's why you're watching it. So this is still wrong. The Coliseums, the football, you're distracted for a reason. That's why you like amusement parks. That's why you like entertainment. Entertainment no longer begin to entertain, so they created social media. Your mind is distracted 20 hours out the day. You don't have no time for you, God, or gold.
It's intentional.
Very intentional.
Now that Epstein emails have came out, do you feel that Donald Trump will make it through his term? He said he knew about the girls.
Everybody knew about the girls. His name ain't the only one out. They just using this as a political toy. Why they didn't give it out now? They've been knowing this. They've been saying, hey, man, the president name on it. So they've been knowing this, homie. They're distracting you. They don't credit his name on there. They don't credit his name on there. How do we know his name on there? They haven't showed us. I don't think his name is on there. Bill Clinton name on there, why he said. Chris Tucker name is on there. So homie, I don't watch it.
Obama might be on there.
I don't watch it. If you met a president, your name on there. You don't make it to where they make it in homie being good. Even the Bible says people in power and evil exist in high places, in high principalities. That's the things you think you know, but really don't know. You don't know the workings of a high principality like the government when everything is secret and releasing everybody dead. So you don't know nothing but what you're told. So I just answer questions, but I don't believe he's on the Epstein file. I don't believe they have evidence he's on there.
We talked about knowledge, financial literacy. The Trump administration is working on a 15-year car loans and 50-year mortgages. That's modern day slavery.
Don't think about that. The people who's going to buy it in 15 years want to live downtown. That's to get money now. They won't be in office in 15 years. The next president is going to unturn it. Don't pay attention to Trump's administration. What the president does distracts the American people. He's the commander in chief. Why would you look at the president and not the city council? So if you're focused on what Trump did, you're already misinformed. What they say they're gonna do, they don't do. The next president come undo it. It's just a game for now. That's why they call it the political game. Stay out of it, people. Stick to what you know. Stick to what you know. Go to talking politics, that's what divides people. You go to talking religion, that's what divides. Don't talk it if you ain't learned it. Most people ain't learned it. Most people ain't read the Bible. Most people don't know the three executive branches of government. Most people don't know what year you go vote in. They don't know when the legislative turn. They don't know nothing. How you gonna talk about the president when the president don't run nothing but the military? That's it. It's the only thing they run. He can't even come talk to us. He got a teleprompter. He got writers that write his political speeches. So why would you pay attention to a script?
Said over 200,000 Americans have applied for ICE. New agents are getting up to $50,000 signing bonus, student loan forgiveness, as well as a salary for $90,000 a year. What are your thoughts?
I think every black man with a non-criminal record that's working in the warehouse that can the physical test should go apply. You can't beat them. So John, what happened to the with the mindsets of a spook who sat by the door? Why we all got to be gorillas beating on our chest, letting the enemy know we angry and we got a problem in the issue? No sub-boss ain't got a problem. No sub-boss. The knew how to jeff and play calm. The left Master Temptation and went across town to go see his daughter. He heard that Master William got. When them slave catchers catch him with their dog, he got this fake pack. That's what's con, man. You got to be confident. The dog barking and they got their gun. Hey, where you going? Your confidence, that fear of death. That's where the con man come from. He was a confidence. He's a con man. Everything you ever been, they create a name to even Uncle Tom. I got a management company called Uncle Tom Management. Man, so study to show thyself approved. I've been a little boy studying last year. I've been a little boy studying. Yeah.
Boosie is supposed to be sentenced November 21st, but he believes that he's going to be pardoned by Trump. What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. Because he was like Plies. He spoke against Trump. And Trump made it clear, I ain't with nobody who has spoken against me. He's very vengeful. Yeah, so am I. Yeah, so I'm with yeah. Nah, yeah, I like Trump. Yeah. If you do something to me, like their kid, mistreat their kids too. Push the old women down. Like that's the mindset of our white government, nigga.
So you want him and Tootie locked up?
I don't want nobody locked up. But him too. Yeah, just him and too. I won't be in the same cell together. Yeah, bold and loose.
He released an album with NBA YoungBoy. Boosie released on his birthday today. Releases today.
I'm not even music. He just doing it to make money. Everything about money, homie. So he got an album coming with Webby. So that's he's storing up, nigga, for a rainy day. As every smart man do. He's very smart. He's a very smart guy.
50 Cent was recently commenting on a photo that surfaced of Diddy in a yard, and the sentence got extended by a month. What are your thoughts on Diddy? Is he in Candyland in prison?
A billionaire in Candyland anywhere where criminals are. A billionaire is in Candyland anywhere where criminals are, nigga. And he a real gangster. Y'all think Puffy just freaking. Puffy got popped and got away with it. Why you think everybody knew he was what he was, but nobody spoke on him? Ain't nobody act like he wasn't doing the Puffy was a real gangster, nigga. He had all the niggas. 50 just hurt. Do my baby mama like how he did it. I be mad too, my boy over there heard his mama get down like that. So I said, I stand 50. So now 50 showing a trait that, most niggas don't show. And he won't admit it is bothering him. But the only way you can do this, niggas has been done something to you. Yeah, the kid go, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Diddy dad was he was supposed to be a gangster, so I can understand that.
Yeah, he was.
What are your thoughts on 50 Cent?
No, a hell of a businessman. I fuck with them. They fuck with me. So I don't think nothing about a man unless he come to me to think about. So I don't get no thoughts to the nigga. Nigga, I got what I'm up there with them. I won't think about them, nigga. I can look at them. Y'all intrigued by them questions, not me. I gotta dumb down and ask them questions. Nigga, from where we start out at, come down here, nigga, I have to dumb down to do that. Nigga, my mama elevated. Math, what's in my fish in? I don't know. My mind can't grasp that. So yeah, nigga, so you can't get the best out of me. Ask me about the scenario. When I was poor and broke and could attack them, that's where you get the best. I'm no longer in that season. So mama say when your season change, your tune change. Or keep the same tune in the new season. You can't put old wine in new wineskin. It'll bust. That's why they don't broke and don't change. They tuned though.
And my thoughts, I didn't say what he's doing in Shreveport, but that was it looks like he's trying to be a business mogul out there.
What he's doing in Shreveport ain't to help Shreveport. It's for his legacy. We look at all he do. This ain't for y'all. It's for him. And his boy go get the inheritance. Let's look at yours. Let's look at mine. So, nickel, in the last 4 years, I ain't watched nobody but me. You ain't watched nobody but me because that's how I grow. Watching me, watch me, helps me become better. Criticism, hate, constructive criticism, and love. All that's the potion for success. We just want love. Now, the critic come with it. The hate come with it. The attack, that's part of the potion. Without that, you can't succeed. All love, no success. If you've been all love, no effort, you won't succeed. You're going to be unstoppable.
And as soon as he got up there trying to build for his legacy, Vivica Fox came out and she was like, if I could go back to my younger self, I wouldn't have dated him. So
all old hoes sit there. Don't bring that. Jose no say. This wasn't no Jose at 50 years old and once 20 years ago. You can't go back. So I ain't say it. You ain't never be married you, put a baby in you. You wouldn't have done nothing different. Your was too hot. Now you're old. Now you can think better. Hot and hard. You can't think rational. You gotta calm and then say, man, I ain't like this. But when it's hard, you can't make logical and rational decisions. Now the bitch hot, cold and dry. Yeah, you wouldn't have done it. You were fresh out the street, been shot 9 times. All he did was dunk calm in your calm bucket.
Like Kevin Samuel said,
It's all right to be a calm bucket. It's all right to be, especially you ain't made no baby. It's all right. It's all right to be a calm bucket. You ain't made no baby.
so
All trash can and bad. Clean trash can and bad. You don't mind.
I'd see something on the local news or read something in the paper or see something online, or I was getting email tips by then, by the late 90s, and I would just say, I'm going to go do this. And people say, oh, they have this big statue and do this ritual at Bohemian Grove. And I'm like, I don't believe that. And so people, listeners sent me old magazine articles and stuff where CBS reporter arrested and all that. And so that's a whole nother interesting story.
John Ronston, right?
Yes.
He went with you.
Yes.
As I was talking to him probably 2004 or 5 about a book that he had written.
Them.
Yeah. And he said, you know, I don't know what your relationship is with him, but he said, you know, there's a lot of stuff I don't agree with Alex Jones, but I went with him. He said, I saw it.
Yeah.
And he said, I thought Alex was crazy. He said, but I saw it. What did you see? And how did you get in?
Okay, it's a 2,700 acre redwood grove in the most beautiful place in America, Sonoma County. It's about 15 miles west of Santa Rosa, and it's on the Russian River, and it's a huge uncut redwood grove, just as big as the ones you see in the national parks.
Wow.
So it's a gorge with redwood trees and one entrance, and the other end exit isn't an entrance or exit. It's just a cliffside over the Russian River. And they've got over 100 camps in it. Some are big and nice, depending on how elite you are. They have like the chalet where world leaders and royalty go up on the hill. But they're all basically log cabins and open bars. And really, it's a big art thing. At the time, I went with the sensational stuff of the occultic stuff and the ritual that they do on the middle of July every year on I guess it's called Midsummer's Eve or whatever. And that's what blew up with the evangelical Christians and stuff. And I am a Christian. And definitely it's occultic and there's vibes of that everywhere. But really, Mark Twain founded it in the 1880s, 1870s. And then President Taft started going there by railroad. And then the Republican establishment took it over. And so there was kind of a Germanic, Druidic spinoff of Skull and Bones that kind of took it over through the Republicans and Skull and Bones members. And so it kind of has that seal on it of the Skull and Bones Germanic mystery school, hyper Masonic, super secret, inner Masonic stuff. But really, it's 1,000 members and 1,000 guests. And when I was there, I mean, I saw Danny Glover from a distance. I saw Clint Eastwood, and I didn't run up because there's security everywhere. And I only snuck in. I snuck in during the day, went around the security in the woods. They beef it up a lot now. But people get in easily. Not now, it's really beefed up, but they always catch you because reporters, there's been hundreds of articles. They always walk up and start asking questions. And they go, well, who are you with? What are you doing? I didn't do that. I snuck in, tried to just go, sit down in one of the outside areas and not be noticed. And Ronson thought it was a joke, but he had an insider that was a member. And so Ronson snuck in. After he saw me get in, he went in with the member that had all the code words and all the stuff as a guest, but not as an official guest. And then Ronson had me sign a contract, but later he talked about it, so I can. He said, we, for liability, can't shoot the footage. And we've seen you shoot some hidden footage. A little DV can and a fanny pack. They didn't have little tiny cameras back then, as you know, for kids out there. But I had to climb up on the edge of a redwood, knot route and kind of get above the people and shoot. That's why it's all canted, cameras falling over and things. But it's still dramatic footage. And so I got in, tried to keep to myself, had sheriff's deputies and Secret Service twice while I was just sitting over an overlook and over in the woods, just at a table. I even brought a book with me so it looked like I was just hanging out. They're like, who are you with? What's going on? I'm like, and I had enough of the inside stuff that I'd read in some of the literature. I said, I'm with the hillbillies. because that's a Texas style camp where the bushes go. They said, really? Okay, well, who are you here with? And I said, I'm here with Ron. Yeah. And they go, okay. And the Secret Service came over and questioned me another time. And I said, that's it. I've been questioned twice. So I came down off because it takes, it's a couple miles down. I came off the overlook where the Secret Service questioned me over the Russian River. And I got into the woods, got to the first camp, and nobody was there. And I climbed up underneath the log cabin deck, and there were like literally centipedes and spiders. It was like Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom, but not as bad. But it was quite a few, and I guess that's where they are. They're under the house. And so I wait till the light starts going down, and I had my map, and I'd only gotten in some, and then gone trying to get it because most of the camps are up at the start and up the hill. I'd gotten away from civilization, waiting for nighttime because I was there about 4.5 hours. I hang out a few hours underneath the log cabin. And again, people say, well, why is there not footage of that? It was little hour tapes. I'm having to start it and stop it. So I got myself going in, walking down there, got the overlook, tape stops. I know there's cameras, which I later saw on the later bit. So I don't reload it there. I just act really calm. I'm kind of hitting the button on and off. I go down, find the first camp, climb under it, reload it, get it ready, get it set. Have like a handkerchief inside hanging over the front of the lens because there's a hole cut in the fanny pack, those little DV cams. And it's getting dark. Okay, I think I can blend in. And so it's twilight. I've got the map. It's this side road right here. I start walking. People start to come out of camps. They're walking. And oh my gosh, there's the pond and there's the owl, the little lake, and there's bats flying around. It's twilight. But people are talking to each other. They're looking. I see Danny Glover. I'm walking. There's now all these big crowds of men coming in, hundreds and hundreds. And I say, okay, I'm gonna go through them and hide somewhere until it gets dark. They're gonna question me. People are looking, hey, because they all kind of know each other. I go up the hill, and then down here are the biggest redwoods, ones you can drive cars through. The ones they
yeah.
And there's all these tables, and there's still people eating, and they're playing Hall of the Mountain King. Dun 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 dun. And I look, there's a symphony playing, and it's just twilight, the light coming through, and bats and frogs chirping. I'm like, this is a badass party. And so I kind of walk up the hill. There was a whole kind of gay vibe going on too. I had some of the greenskeepers, guys, they go, hey, baby, and whistle at me. That went on a few times. Back then I was pretty good looking. And so I go, okay, it's getting dark. So I come back down the hill. Now almost everybody is flooding out from eating their dinner on these big picnic tables that I was going up the hill looking down on. They're coming out and going down to the owl. I go around them, wait till they're there, get up behind the crowd, but there's men standing in front of me. So I kind of climb up on the edge of one of the roots and shoot the video. And it was about an hour long. So we got it on the tape because I got shots of the people. I have shots all this, down there while the music's playing. I've got the shot of the ritual. And then I'm sitting there going, okay, it's an owl.
Certain countries you can travel to, a kidney is going to be 40 grand. If you got the right nanotechnology, that 40 grand kidney goes to a. There's one dude who.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore. And it works? Oh.
Who provided the feds a lot of tapes. He's not at the court at all. And this is on TMZ. They're trying to track him down. I know who he is, but I mean.
You think he got some hush money?
For sure. It's the same thing that happened in the Tory Lanez case where the bodyguard just disappeared. That's what happened here.
Damn.
But it's weird that no contempt of court is being sent out. No warrants getting sent out. In the Tory Lanez case, the bodyguard was supposed to be a witness. He just disappeared. He never got a contempt of court. No warrant for his arrest. We seen in the Nipsey Hussle case, though, certain witnesses didn't show up and they had warrants out for their arrest. Why is it in this situation no warrants going out? Why is that?
Weaponized legal system.
Absolutely. Weaponized legal system. And there is an active conspiracy going on. We're watching it unfold right now.
Crazy.
Fact.
It's actually scary, though, if you're on the wrong side of it.
And I've been on the wrong side of it forever because, I'm the only person that stood up to this guy.
You were the first, right?
First person. They told me I was crazy at first. I said, how am I crazy? But, the truth came out.
Yeah.
They got me in this other lawsuit with them when they say I protected the witness, and they don't got they. You seen that?
I think you sent me an article, right?
Yeah, man, they don't got their facts right.
Yeah.
But I'll be in court. Let's see how it go.
That sucks. They're just trying to drain you.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing with this. You said something very critical right now. They trying to drain me. But here's the thing. When you've done what I've done for so long, a lot of people with deep pockets love me, bro. They love me. So it's kind of like, they didn't expect me to be able to retain that lawyer that I got.
Let's go.
They like, how'd he get him? Shout out Ed Zappia. You feel me? How'd he get him? You feel me? That's 15 grand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But mind you, though, they tried to file this same lawsuit last year. They couldn't get it amended. So I thought it was over. And I see it hit the internet. I'm like, oh, so they got it amended. But the weird part is that same law firm was hitting up my management and offering me $1,000 for a 30-minute interview.
That's weird.
Weird. I turned it down. 4 or 5 days later, this paperwork come out. I'm in this lawsuit.
What the heck?
Somebody was trying to get me to discredit myself and make me look not as tangible, I guess.
Yeah.
Not gonna work though.
Crazy. They served you on the media. That's a form of serving now, right?
Form of serving now.
Crazy. They don't even have to pull up in person.
That right there. Since when is that legal?
I just learned that the other day. I couldn't believe it.
I'm like, hold on, man. But I'm ready for whatever though. I do this, bro.
Yeah. You faced a lot worse.
Oh yeah. I seen a lot worse. I seen a lot worse for sure. So it's kind of like, it's like mosquitoes to King Kong, bro.
Bro, ever since you told me about the pneumonia thing, now whenever I see someone get it, I'm like, oh my God.
Now peep this, bro. In America, every year, per 1,000 people, 6 of them get poisoned. Like, come on, like.
Wow, that's a lot.
Why isn't this a statistic? Like, why isn't this something being talked about? Why are so many people around him coming down with pneumonia and dying?
I've had 3 guests die.
See?
Since I started the show.
See?
That's not normal.
It's not normal at all. So,
it's crazy.
How's that make you feel?
I'm not going to lie, it scares me. It does. But at the same time, I think getting the truth out is important.
For sure. People used to always say, like, why you standing right there watching them make your food and stuff like that? Like,
yeah.
Why you always show up places with your own cups? And why you won't drink out of a bottle if it's been open? Because you haven't seen what I've seen. And,
you just got to move smart. You got to have good people around you.
Got to, because it's easy to compromise people when their sole motivation is financial gain. So, like, I try to keep myself around people these days that aren't living impoverished. People who have a sound moral compass, because you can forgive a lot of stuff, but it's almost impossible to forgive betrayal. Because usually if somebody betrays you, you don't really even get the chance to forgive them.
That's facts.
For sure.
I don't forgive when it comes to betrayal.
No, once you betray, that's it. As a man, but that's as dangerous as it gets.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've been around you. Like, you can't just get next to you. You feel me? You can't just get next to Sean. You can't just pull up on him without having an invite. You're not a person who seems to take this world as a game. A lot of people do, though. And they can be compromised easily.
I keep my friend group on one hand, bro.
Bro, literally. Literally.
No more than that.
Because if you don't, a level of danger comes with that.
Too many ways to get infiltrated if you have a wide net.
100%. And friendship comes with a certain responsibility, and oftentimes it's not really worth it. So I always say, like, either we family or we associate. And that's just like the safest way to be, especially if people look at you as somebody who has. If you the guy who got that extra $500 that people like, man, if I need to borrow $500 and you the person everybody think about, things can get tricky for you. Because in your mind, all right, look, if I give you this $500, to them, this is nothing to him. I'll never got to pay this back. But for you, it's like, okay. it may be in their best interest to pay you back because if you need to come to the bank again, I got you. But if they don't, I usually just cut those people off because I paid this amount for my safety.
Yeah.
Now I'm not communicating with you no more. You got what you wanted, and now I got what I wanted, which is just a peaceful, sound mind and to be able to move knowing that people are not trying to betray me every move I make. It's just rules to the game, and it's too late in the game to be playing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you been betrayed pretty bad in the past?
I had some betrayals before. Yeah. But I always try to make sure I'm just not walking around out here with this like it's extreme trust issues and like super paranoid because, you know, that can lead to other things taking place in your brain. You know, I've seen a lot of people get betrayed and then they get to smoking high power marijuana and now they're schizophrenic.
Yeah.
You feel? Now they flipping out all the time. So, you know, I definitely experienced some betrayals before, but it's like, it's the cost of being valuable.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Bro, I got to ask you about, I know we didn't even prepare this topic, but nanobots. I just saw this thing yesterday where they found out they're being put in ivermectin. Have you seen this?
This is crazy you bring this up because I got an aunt right now that's fighting cancer. And I've been calling around trying to get my hands on ivermectin. I found a little.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.
Location. And I'm about to travel there to get it. And then what you just said to me, someone says to me, oh man, don't trust ivermectin anymore. They're putting nanotechnology in it. Because, you know, they sell ivermectin cream at Tractor Supply. And that's not in the pill form. You're not going to be able to put like nanotech like in the cream like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, how do you ingest the cream if you're trying to use it to fight cancer? I know several people who was fighting some cancers. They started taking ivermectin. They don't got cancer no more. They chose that route over chemo.
Yeah.
But I can understand the nanotech because that's going to be a delivery system in the future for how they plan to target certain areas in the body directly and to get that immediate injection into the bloodstream, into the muscle, so I can get it. The problem with this is, you know, nobody can show me who has the patent for nanotechnology. It always goes back to the government. They got the patent, so that's suspicious, you know, because they plan to use nanotechnology to combat the fact that our telomeres have been shortened and we don't live as long. But with nanotech, possibly, potentially, people can live forever.
Wow.
That's what's going on right now, bro. And, you know, I've been in situations working in that private sector. I done met some strange people. I met a family of people, nobody had a belly button. You feel? So I'm asking, like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, be quiet, don't say anything about it. I'm like, man, what the? Okay. And then, you know, you start seeing international laws about banning cloning. The international laws is to ban human cloning, though. If you can clone a dog, you can clone a person. You can buy a designer dog right now.
Yep. $50K, right?
$50K, you get a designer dog. So, you know, we just recently seen Trump make a comment saying that Biden was a clone. Retired FBI agent John D'Souza, who ran the X-Files program for the FBI, he has been calling out about this. He calls him Biden's clone. A lot of the events that have been taking place, this gentleman has called them. And I do know that they have these farms where people are having certain organs in their body grown in case they need to replace them in their own body.
Wow.
So then you see people like Musk getting telekinesis patented. And he's doing the Neuralink. So now they're getting ready to make quadriplegic people be able to walk again. And then now they got these cloning farms. You can replace your organ. You can't do that without nanotech.
That's crazy.
Because the nanotech removes the aspect of your body accepting an implant. Sometimes people's bodies will reject an implant that they got. The nanotechnology removes that. So that means what? You're going to see a lot of missing people. It's a proven fact that in the trafficking world, after a while, when they can't sell a person anymore, they murder them and harvest their organs.
Wow.
So, certain countries you can travel to, a kidney is going to be 40 grand. If you get the right nanotechnology, that 40 grand kidney goes to 100 grand because your body's not going to reject it.
Damn.
So when they keep talking about this transhumanism, where people are mixing technology with the human body, this is what they're talking about.
That's crazy.
For sure.
40 grand for a kidney, huh?
For sure.
What about a heart?
A heart, that's the thing. So if you see somebody getting 6 or 7 heart transplants, those people are always billionaires.
Damn.
Human organs are like precious minerals. You can sell them for whatever people willing to pay for them. They ran a big script with the whole precious mineral thing, how diamonds have this much value and stuff like that. There was never a shortage on diamonds. So now we see jewelers at the diamond exchange having fist fights with other guys because, shout out Terrence Howard, they have these machines now that create lab diamonds. They grow diamonds from scratch instead of having to go through a million years of fucking carbon compressing itself, turning coal into diamonds. They can grow them. And we're in a renaissance right now with information and technology. So I always told people, I said, when you see the CVD diamonds start to replace natural diamonds, that's when we're going to start to see the onset of free energy platforms start to get introduced into the world, because once the champions of the industry have decided that, all right, well, the rest of the world is catching up, they're already 50 to 100 years ahead. They keep everything structurally drip-fed just to keep control. And it all goes back to money. Point blank.
Money's the root of all evil, huh?
Money is the root of all evil. And now attention is the root of all evil, because people associate attention and fame with wealth, and that's not the truth.
Not at all.
And people are figuring that out. So it's an interesting time to be a human being. Homo sapiens sapien is going through some strange times right now.
Very interesting. Free energy would be crazy if we get to there, because everyone that's tried to attempt that in the past has been mysteriously wiped out.
I'm going to show you some stuff when we get off camera.
Yeah.
It's
hydrogen or what? Scalar? Well, it's like that?
When we get off, I'll wait. All right,
yeah, that energy stuff's no joke, though.
Yeah, I'm scared of that. Like, that's one thing when people come to me, I need protection. I made this. I got poisoned over a guy who's just horny. I can only imagine the scrutiny and the threats that would come upon me if, I got a guy who got a device who is going to challenge the use of fossil fuels. They don't want that to happen.
Definitely not. That's a $1 trillion business?
$1 trillion
fossil
business.
fuels.
$1 trillion business.
Damn. I saw you make a video on potentially buying a presidential pardon. Do you think it's possible to do that?
Oh, I know it's possible. Here's the thing. You can't just, if you qualify, you know the right people, there's going to be a fee. And I know that fee is $10 million. For sure.
So that rapper that just got pardoned, was it NBA?
Yep.
You think he paid 10 M's?
Either him or the companies that own his intellectual property.
Wow.
Yeah, we've seen him beat every case. We've seen that young guy come from underneath every possible type of case. If you're making a company hundreds of millions a year, it's in their best bet in their interest to keep you free. I've never seen people catch as many cases as these guys do. Come on, it's math at the end of the day. I never seen it before, but we're watching it happen.
They're like the mafia out here.
So peep game. Lil Wayne got caught with a rifle, heroin, several drugs on a private plane. He goes to prison for a year. He sells his masters for $160 million. Then he gets a pardon.
Interesting timing.
The only, a lot of people get pardons.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings, not your notes. It captures everything, from action items to key decisions. And after every call, you get a clear summary. But where it really goes to the next level is that it's the only AI note taker that connects your meetings to the rest of your work. So stop stressing about taking notes and get the AI note taker that works for you. Get ClickUp AI Note Taker for your next meeting.
But most of them are up in age. They've been in jail for a certain amount of time, over 10 years. These guys none of the rappers who got pardons were in jail long. They're all signed to major companies. What I learned a valuable lesson years ago. I had a court case going on, and when I got to court, my lawyer and the judge they didn't like each other. I said, man, all right now. Okay. But another lawyer walks in, the DA and her hug. The judge, he takes his glasses off, stands off, I said, oh. This need to be my lawyer. So I changed counsel to this lady. And I ended up just getting a 12-month stay out of trouble order. But it's like, man, now mind you, I was working when I caught this case. My bond was $1 million.
Jeez. Holy crap.
I done had $3 million bills. But, people with a lot of money love me. And all these cases that I had caught was me protecting people in the line of duty of my job. I always tell people, like, if you're going to be a bodyguard at the highest level, you got to understand, like, a security guard's job is to call the authorities, call the police. A bodyguard's job is to fight, kill, die for you on the spot. You think about the consequences later. That's why you charge what you charge. Because if I do a threat assessment and I identify several active threats against your life, before you sip that bottle of water, I got to sip it first.
Damn.
Before you take a scoop of the oatmeal in the morning, I got to take a scoop first.
It's that serious?
That's how serious. So I'm going to charge you when I'm charging you. And it's in the contracts that if I get arrested, protecting you, contractually, you have to come get me out. So each time this happens, I don't get no jail time. Cases get thrown out, et cetera, et cetera. All of my certifications come back. License to carry. I follow certain protocols. I know the law well.
Yep.
If not, come on, man. You can't do this and not know the law. You can't just be a brute. You got to have a methodical approach to everything. If not, the gray areas become dark fast.
That's where I feel like you are separated from most bodyguards I've met. You got the mental game on lock.
Thank you for saying that.
That's what I've noticed about you.
And that's the thing, bro. Like, I don't walk around just telling people I'm a genius and stuff like that. I don't walk around telling people everything that I know, stuff like that. I could be unassuming to people. And, your mental capabilities is what's going to always separate you when it comes to everything and everybody. Because, there were guys a lot more athletic than Michael Jordan, bigger, stronger, faster. But mentally, they just wasn't on the same level with him. He was willing to do anything he had to do to win.
Facts.
And as we watch our society evolve, it seemed like the winners are on this side, the people trying to figure it out are right here, and the guys who don't have it. You either got it or you don't.
You don't think you could learn it?
you can learn certain aspects of it, but when you start to get good at something, an intuitive part starts to develop. Like, you a hooper.
Yeah.
And you know, as a hooper, if you've been doing it for a while, you know what spots you're good at. You know how to get to your spots. You don't have to think about every move before you do it.
Yeah.
That's that intuitive part about it. Everybody don't have that because some people is just a job. Some people is their culture, but some people is their belief. You know, I'm going to apply these same principles to a lot of different things that I do, not just basketball, not just football, because, you know, you can't have an army or fight a war without belief. The people who believe the most, they got an advantage. So if you got belief and then you got the tech aspect put together, you do the proper background, put the work in beforehand, you're going to be hard to stop. And it's just the same thing all across the board.
Yeah. You still think the NBA is right?
GT, what's the deal? Finna get up out of here in a second. What's going on, brother?
Look, it's not that, look. So, okay, by the fact, yeah, let's do this. Check this out. I'm finna send you an article.
Let's see it. We'll link it in the video.
I'm gonna send you an article. In previous interviews, I told people that the game gets rigged based off the officiating. It's not necessarily the players, but we've seen several players get arrested for saving points, manipulating the game. But that article I just clicked on, you said to
NFL.
And that's an NFL. Now, people kept saying, man, it's like they cheating for Patrick Mahomes. The referees from that game are all fired now.
Damn.
Why is that? Because, think about it. If you
Choose to lean into it. Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
you get paid $70,000 to $100,000 a year to be a referee. You at the casino with your cigar in the high limit room, and a guy walks up to you and he says, "Hey, buddy, you want to make a couple $1,000,000?" They know everything about you already. The casino comes and hands you $300,000 in chips. Say it's on us. It's on the house. If you can bet on the outcome, it can be fixed. Why those referees get arrested? Fixing the game. The guy Donahue in the NBA, the referees were fixing the game. Do you remember when James Harden was at his peak? You couldn't even wave your hand by him without getting a foul.
Yep, on the Rockets.
Once the referees started to come under scrutiny, he couldn't get a foul call. He goes from MVP to almost 6 man. Why is that? Imagine how many millions of dollars they made during that time. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Explain their article. Why referees getting fired?
No, you're right. The sports betting market is bigger than the actual sport now.
The sports betting market is bigger than the actual sport, and who never loses? The house. You go to the casino, you beat them too many times, they ban you. If you go to the casino and you win too many times, they're going to sell you. You can't gamble here no more. Thank you so much. They're going to escort you out. What do you mean? How many videos you see? Oh, I won for this amount of money. They come and say, "Oh, the machine was faulty. We can't pay you this out." If you can bet on the outcome, it can be rigged. Straight up. No way. I know for a fact, man, some of my close homies is professional hoopers. They trying to figure out why they not in the league right now.
There's a lot of talented people not in the league.
Not in the league. Why is that?
And it's the ones with an attitude usually.
Yes, because you go against the status quo, and you know, they don't want a lot of people like you coming into the league. They don't want to set that example or that precedent. So what is it really about? Is it about the best guys, or is it about the best business model? And when it comes to business models, you know, we've seen they got things called monopoly laws. We've seen Bill Gates and Microsoft get hit with monopoly laws. we don't see the NBA getting hit with it. When they was blatantly trying to stop Ice Cube and the Big Three. What's going on there? Why are we not seeing the same treatment?
They stopped all the sponsors, right?
Stopped all of this. How can you do this without someone facing some type of legal scrutiny? You don't see it.
When you got that much money, you got a lot of power.
Yeah, man. These are the people who put presidents and governors and mayors in office. That's why, you see Elon and Trump going back and forth, because Elon was giving the man $47 million a month for his campaign.
Jeez.
Elon knew he won the election 8 hours before it was over. He's like, Donald won. He legal, get on the plane, he gone. Why is these things happening? Then you see, you've been following him and Trump's banter they've been having back and forth?
Yeah, you think that's real or orchestrated?
I was the first person to come out and say there was a physical conversation between Elon and Trump at the White House. About a week later, leaks come out. He said his son punched him in the eye. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Like, come on. That's not how that's going down. If you do the research and do the history, they call politics theater. In a lot of different republics, you can put it up on Google. Guys throwing hands at these hearings. People getting dragged out, kicking, fighting. These things happen. So, Elon's plan was to get to the moon. If Kamala is president, Mars, pardon me. Elon's plan was to get to Mars. If Kamala is president, he's not getting to Mars. Trump said, I'll help you get to Mars. Then they debrief Elon until he finds out, wait a second. Y'all got craft that can get from here to Mars in 4 hours? So you telling me this rocket technology that I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life to, I'm in the warehouses sleeping on the floor with my staff trying to put together these advanced rockets, and y'all got the technology, I don't even have to do this? That's going to piss you off. And then you can't talk about it because they didn't debrief you and you don't want to lose your clearances. That's going to piss you off. And then you see that these people are laundering money on the largest scale ever, and we've seen no arrest. That's going to piss you off. You finding out things that's going to give people ontological shock, that's going to piss you off. Because Elon said himself, it's a 99% chance that this is not base reality. He says that you take his Tesla down to the cemetery and you can see people walking around, it's not there. Scientists say the afterlife takes place in another dimension. Science proves that there are several dimensions, all on top of each other. So if time is linear and everything is taking place as we speak, that's the proof. Because you go look at the monolithic sites around the world. Somebody figured out Einstein's theory of relativity 4,000 years ago.
Damn.
Why are they hiding this? These is facts.
That's nuts. You think we actually have that spaceship technology, though, to get to Mars in 4 hours? That's fast.
For sure. There's a company that whistleblower Matthew Brown comes down and said, in their hangars, they got the reverse engineered tech. Why is Tuttle, the crypto company, coming out saying that you can buy our crypto coin that is backed by reverse engineered tech from crash UFOs? Why is that coming out? Now, according to him,
what is this logo? Office, the Director of National Intelligence.
That's their logo.
Is this a government organization in the U.S.?
Yep. What do you see interesting on that logo?
There's 4 ships flying. Plane is in last. And there's a red one that's slightly ahead, then a black one that's ahead of that, and then a blue one.
Now look down that far left bottom corner.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, there's a UFO saucer.
Why is that there?
Huh.
Why is that there?
What the heck?
And this we have in our emojis on our phone.
Really?
There's nothing in our emojis that's fantasy. Go to your emojis and type in UFO. What pops out? I just sent it to you.
Wow, it's a saucer.
Nothing in our emojis is fantasy. The only things in our emojis that could be considered as fantasy is this, the dragon, and zombies. They got declassified docs that say they got bacteria that can turn people into literal zombies. Zombies is real. It's taking a long time. I'm just gonna play it right here. Now, this right here is this is crazy. Hear what he said?
He said an astronaut's on the moon? You just casually said that?
He didn't mean to say that. He wasn't supposed to say that.
What?
Stepped out.
No way.
This is it's the Secretary of the Army. It's the top guy. Why is he saying that? Why is Elon pissed all of a sudden?
When was that video?
This is 3 years ago.
Wow.
So if you found out you a billionaire, man, you're one of the most powerful guys on the planet, and all of a sudden you help a guy get into the White House, you go to these briefings, and everything they told you was fantasy. You found out is real. You might be pissed off. We've been using the same flight jet engine since the 60s. That's all we got? Impossible. The man just said he talked to an astronaut, Army guy that's on the moon.
It's nuts.
The Space Force exists. When you get a chance, look up a guy named Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon is a hacker based out of the UK. He hacked into NASA's computers, the Navy's computers, and he found a non-terrestrial officers list with names. And this is...
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
About to let it go until he finishes this sentence, and we're going to get up out of here. I'll be back on tomorrow, episode 127.
More than 10 years ago.
Wow. They got a lot of technology, allegedly, that can wipe memories, though, right? So most people, when they uncover stuff like this,
for sure,
just get wiped.
Yeah, it's like, in that movie Men in Black, they got the device, they can wipe your memory. That's real. They got truth serums. That's real.
I've heard their UFO retrieval programs is international. They go across the world.
Yeah, so, all right, man. Crash retrieval programs exist. Have you heard about the guy named Jake Barber?
Might have.
Yeah, so Jake Barber became a whistleblower, went on News Nation, sat down with Ross Coulthard. He provided actual footage. He's a retrieval helicopter pilot, badass dude, heavily trained. This is a guy who's attempts been made on his life. The problem is, if you study history, there's a group of people you really can't bully for too long before they take action. I always tell people, bro, the smart, tough white guys, you can't bully them for too long because they know how to organize themselves. They can almost go into a hive mind state in order for self-preservation. I feel like there's a reason to why the white human DNA goes back like 8,000 years, why Luis Elizondo comes out and he says 100,000 years ago, something happened. Homo sapiens sapiens DNA was edited for us to outcompete Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthal. There were several different races of different species of humans that existed. And while we're still here, I feel like there was some type of intervention, be it divine or non-human or extraterrestrial, be that as it may, something happened. So when all of this boils down to it, you got to understand there's always going to be factions to everything. And within some of these factions that's going on, there's definitely some type of battle going on within our government. There's definitely battles going on between religious groups and powerful organizations. And it seems to boil down to, It's an old story, but it seems to boil down to literal good versus evil because, you know, somebody set Hitler off. I know he was in contact with a group called the Vril, and the Vril introduced him to some malevolent, negative entities that set him off on the warpath. I think I seen Tucker Carlson bring this up, and he said, why didn't anybody put any more studies into this, any more research into this? They did, it's just been classified.
And
that's the problem. So when you see these whistleblower hearings going on, everything they say gets approved by DOPSR. DOPSR is a leg of the Defense Department that approves what you can say. But if you're an actual whistleblower, you end up like Snowden, somewhere seeking asylum in Russia, stashed off in Siberia somewhere. All of these whistleblowers have all went through DOPSR. So it's been approved by the Pentagon for them to say what they want to say. And then the Pentagon still comes out and say they deny it all because they can keep plausible deniability. But if it's approved by DOPSR, the drip feeding apparatus is working.
Yeah. So,
man, that was episode 126. I'll be on tomorrow at 8 or 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, y'all go run up my compilation I just dropped. I'm giving y'all news, conspiracy theories, rabbit holes, all the information y'all need. Go hype me up. Hit that hype button so I get in the algorithm while I'm watching it. Shout out to my mods. Appreciate y'all. We're about to be for sure about to be on tomorrow though. About to drop in the morning. Make sure y'all in there for the premiere. I am your humble host, Cash, capital K, $ for the S. Already know all money ain't good money. Slow motion better than no motion.